So, welcome to everyone to this particular session. My name is Prab Nair. Um, I have a 17 plus year of experience in information security governance. Okay, and when it comes to the requirement of governance, I do a lot of consulting in past. I did a lot of consulting in GRC, VAPT, audits and all that. And in this particular course, I'm bringing that experience of that GRC. This course will be the game changer, which not only give you the insight about the perspective about the course, but also it gives you the uh, job opportunity, and I'm sure you can able to crack any GRC jobs based on this particular certification. So with that insight, we are planning. I'm in a stage of drafting this particular course. We have a two version of the course. One is called NIST based GRC, and one is basically called as a GRC implementation, which is we're going to cover in the next month of the session. Let's start with the session. So when you're talking about this course, this today's agenda is to cover the introduction to the course. Okay, then what we'll be covering in the course, like what the course we are planning to launch. Along with that, why this course is essential, why this can be the game changer, because there's a lot of GRC course is there, and who will get benefit from this course, and how I'm going to teach this course. Okay, how will we teach this course? Okay, because there's always a doubt among the people, what kind of a course is this? Is it theory, is it practical? So that we're going to cover. But before we start, I don't want to make this as a marketing gimmick where I want to promote my course. First, let's start with what is GRC. Let's build a baseline so it gives you better visibility why you are here in this session, why this courses exist. Okay, so when we talking about this GRC, the first is called governance, risk management, and compliance. Okay, so before we start with this particular description, I just want to check, is my voice is audible to everyone? Is my communication you guys able to understand? Is my language is well relate? Thank you so much. No, Mukesh, I'm doing general LLB. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to answer all the questions. Please drop your questions in the chat box, so I will try to share that. Hope my voice doesn't creating any echo in your ears and all that. I'm trying to speak more softly so you can able to understand the topic well. No, when you're talking about governance, GRC, okay, governance, risk management, compliance. Okay, so let's first understand governance before we basically, start with the governance as a topic. Okay, let's play one video. Okay, I want you to observe and let me know in the chat box what you observe from this video. So do you notice something in the video? There's one person who want to reach office. I'm sure you also victim of same, right? When you want to go in the morning, if we take example in India, we have a Bangalore, we have a Delhi, we have a Mumbai, and if we talk about Middle East, Dubai and all that, in the morning, if you want to go from your home to office, I'm sure you literally, your goal is to make sure you reach on time, right? Sometimes you cross the red light, you avoid traffic rules and all that. So can we say this is the example of lack of governance? Can we say this is the live example of lack of governance? Because if you go by the definition of governance, what is governance? Governance is a set of rule. It is a process. It is a decision. Okay. structure that make the organization put place to ensure it operate effectively. So in that video, if you notice, there was no process, there was no rule. And goal was the person has to reach from one location to the destination. That is basically the end goal. Okay, so this is the source we have, and this is basically the destination we have. And goal, he just need to reach office. It doesn't matter what rules we have, it doesn't matter what regulation we have now. So it create lot of chaos. Now if you go by the general definition of governance, imagine your family, okay, is like a team. Okay, your family is just like a team. Okay, imagine your family is just like a team. Okay, okay, in which you have a mom, you have a dad. Okay, and mom and dad is the team captain. So normally who is the captain of the house? Mom or dad? Mom, right? Whatever the mom say, we follow. Agree? So mom and dad is the team captain. So they make sure everyone knows their roles. Everyone knows their roles, like who basically set the table or take care of the pets. Just like captain help the team play well together, mom and dad also help the family to run smoothly. I'm sure when you were a kid, okay, there's a timetable parents has created, yes or no? I want to make this session interactive. That's why I want more interaction in the chat box. So what do you think when we're talking about waking up on time, having a breakfast, okay, going to the office, coming back, have a lunch, then have a dinner, particular process, tuitions, education, everything is there. Because what is the end goal of creating such strict rules by the parents? Just to make sure they give a great life to the kids. Yes or no? Correct me if I'm wrong. We see now based on discipline, we create our outcome, right? So that's why they have given you a great life. They have given a strategy. They create a strategy. They create a schedule. They create a policy. They create everything just to make sure the kids should get a great life. And because of that, what happened? You got a good score, you got a good marks, and you're able to attain the good job. Now same example, let's take example of any country. India is the best example. We have more than 25 plus states. Each and every state has a different culture. US basically has different states, they have a different culture. But question is how we basically manage the state. What is the one thing is required to manage the entire state in India? What is one thing is basically required to manage the entire states in US? What is the multiple provinces what we have in Middle East or UAE? So what is the most important thing is required to manage these provinces? What is required? Government. Agree? Do we need a government? And government is basically, what did they do? They create a law, they create a policy, they create administration by which they can able to manage the people of that country, the people who came from a different culture. This presence of all these things, can we say it's a governance? So those who are not clear with the governance, I'm sure now it's clear what is governance. Governance is all about creating a rule, creating a process, creating a strategy by which you can able to achieve your desired state. Now I join one company. The company basically has a people, they have a process, okay, they have a product, but they don't know how to mix that. So what we do, we create a strategy. Who create a strategy? GRC people create a strategy. They create a strategy to make sure the technology can able to align with the business. Because here right now what happened is we have a technology 1, we have a technology 2, we have a technology 3, we have a technology 4, and we have a multiple business. How to align the business with technology? For that we need to create a strategy. Based on a strategy, we basically create a policy which is basically applied on the people by which we can able to align technology with business. This is what is called as a governance. Understood? So when we talking about governance, this is called as a governance. Governance is a set of operation. Now second part is, okay, we are creating a strategy, we creating a process. Why? Just to make sure any kind of initiative we're introducing, it should have a limited impact. I give you an assignment, you have to prepare for one certification. You will create a strategy, which is part of a governance. You allocate the right resource, it's part of a governance. Shall I read this or shall I read that? For that, you do risk management. Is it possible with a particular cost, you can able to protect all the assets which is there in the company? Is it possible for you with a limited budget, you can able to protect all the laptops, all the server, all the people, all the process, everything? No. That is why governance is drive through a risk management. Let's take an example. Think of your toys. Toys, T-O-Y-S, toys. Okay. Let's take an example of toys. Okay. So think of a toys as a treasure. So you want to make sure they don't get lost or broken. So you put your special toy in a safe spot where you won't get harmed, like on a shelf or a special box. So that way you don't have to worry about getting hurt. So can we say it's a risk management we're doing? We bring new toy in the house. Part of a governance, part of a rule, you can keep toy, but make sure you protect the toy from getting harmed. You protect the toy from getting cracked. Okay, so this is basically where we're doing the risk management, which include about identification of a risk, analysis of the risk, treatment of the risk, and evaluation of the risk and treatment of the risk. So that is part of a risk management. And finally, by doing this, what we're trying to achieve? We're trying to achieve compliance. Compliance is all about act of abiding. Okay, let's take example. I want to start one bank in India. Okay, I want to start one bank in India. So if I want to start a bank in India, I need to take a permission from whom? I need to reply in the chat box. So if I want to start a bank, so I want to take a permission from RBI. So who is the RBI? RBI is the regulation authority. Same like if I want to get listed in US stock market, I need to be comply with SEX. Okay, sorry, SEC, Security Exchange Committee, right? Commission, or they have their own acts. Same like, so if I want to start a bank in India, I want to comply with RBI rule. So I'm using a word called comply. Comply is an English word. It means act of abiding. Act of abiding. But who will understand that we need to comply with the RBI? So we need a right governance. That's why we appoint CISO. We appoint directors. We appoint CIO. What they do risk management. Why? So that we can able to comply with RBI. And through that, we can able to run the bank operation. Now understood. What come first? Governance, risk management, or compliance? What come first? Tomorrow, if someone asks you in the interview, what come first? The answer is governance. Okay, so if you take a same example of compliance, compliance is what? When you play a game, there are certain rules you need to follow to make it fair and fun for everyone. Like hide and seek. You don't peek until it's time. It is same in life. There are rules to be followed to make sure everything goes well, like being kind and saying please and thank you. So that is a compliance. This is how I'm going to start GRC session when I'm doing a GRC course. Mark my word, I haven't find any vendor who drive the content in this way, because what they assume that okay, the participant who joining, he's experienced person. But for me, I always consider participant as a fresher. No matter you have experience, for me, you are a fresher. So with this aspect, you understood what is governance, risk management, compliance. So I'm now taking a live example. Now, Prabh, how this course is useful. Okay, so I came to this course, okay, and I learned what is governance, which include building strategy, building policy. Then implementing, I need to make sure I have a limited budget. With the limited budget, I want to implement the control. So we have a risk management. I did risk management to prioritize what we need to mitigate so that I can comply with my senior management intentions, organization intention, and regulatory intentions. So this course basically start from scratch, how to build governance, how to conduct risk management, how to maintain compliance. Now, moving to the next part, we talk about governance multiple times. And what is included in the governance? Governance includes the strategic planning. It includes the organization structure, roles and responsibility, enterprise architecture, policy. So all these things is a part of a governance. Okay. Now if you take an example, let's take an example. Okay. So team, every organization basically start with what? It start with the vision, right? And mission. which talk about why we exist. Tell me frankly, do you know how to write mission and vision for the company? If company give you, so example, you join one company, okay, and they told you, please write the vision and mission statement of security. Do you know how to write? Be frank. It's completely okay. We are here for learning. No, right? Do you see any course which talk about how to write vision and mission? Tell me frankly. Have you seen any course which say how to write vision mission? No. Let me show you something. In my course of NIST, okay, I'm teaching how to write vision and mission from scratch. Can you see that? Because NIST says understand the organization context is the first thing. Here you can see vision, mission, stakeholder expectation, then legal regulatory, then mission focus and vision focus. So I basically focus on these level of granular points because for this course, I'm working on this from last 1.5 years. I don't know how many of you are aware about recently I cleared my CGRC. Are you aware about that? Recently I cleared my CGRC, second person in India who cleared this. The reason why, because when I teach the NIST course, when I teaching my NIST course, there should be some kind of authority behind. That is why I'm using the CGRC NIST experience in my CGRC, this NIST GRC course. Now here you can see, understand the vision and mission. Then I'm explaining what is vision statement, what is the purpose, how to drive, direction, relevant, inspiration, vivid, extremely bold. Then we talk about what is the purpose of the mission. Then departmental mission statements. Then how to create, there is a dedicated slide for that. Then how to define, tell the story, highlight the keywords. Then with the example, explain and how to fill. So we basically talk from that angle. Understood? So every organization basically start with the vision and mission. And I'm proudly say that I'm covering that in my NIST GRC course. Now, based on that, I first create a strategy. Okay, strategy is basically called as a long-term goal, long-term plan. Okay, how to create a strategy based on a NIST cybersecurity framework, we will going to cover and define how to create a strategy. There is a dedicated slide for that, how to create a strategy. So I want to include the continuity plan. I want to include a SOC plan. I want to include information security part of a strategy. Then based on a strategy, we basically creating a tactical plan. Here we have a tactical plan. Okay, so example like strategy was I want to create a contingency. So tactical plan will be the BCP plan. Now how to implement that? Then we have a operational plan. Understood, team? So strategic is basically 5 year, tactical is basically 3 year, and operational is basically 1 year. Or strategy will be the 5 year, tactical will be 1 year, and operational is a 6 months. Okay, so that is how we define the governance. So if you go by the same statement, we have a vision. Based on a vision, we basically create a mission. Based on a mission, we basically create a strategy. Based on a strategy, we basically creating a tactical plan. Here we introduce the policy. How to write policy and what to include in the policy. We're going to cover in this course. Then tactical plan, and then we have a operational plan. Okay, so that is how we define the function. Okay, strategy is basically I want information security governance. Tactical is basically I want SOC. Operation is implementing a SOP in the company. SOP or the SOC in the company. That is the operational plan, like implementing SIEM, DLP, and all that. So that is how we're defining the function. Is it clear? So when we're talking about governance, so we have two aspects in the governance. One is called governance, which is called evaluating, directing, and monitoring. And we have a second part, which is called as a management, where we include plan, build, run, and monitor. So we're going to cover based on a COBIT also. So that's why you can say governance is basically this part and management is basically this part. That is how we define the things. So far clear, whatever we have covered. Now, question is how things works, how governance works in the company. Okay, now I join as a CISO. Okay, after NIST this course, you can become a good CISO also. So I join as a CISO in the company. Prab, I think everyone has this question, right? Prab, how to start? So according to NIST GRC, they say understand the business requirement. Can we go beyond business requirement? Can we implement something which is against the business requirement? No. So we need to first understand the business requirement. For that, we need to speak to the business team. How to speak to the business team, that cover in the course. How to understand the business interpretation, that is covered in the course. Let me show you that also. Like stakeholder management strategy. Okay, how to identify stakeholders. Identify, understand. Does it make sense? So I'm using one HBR tool which is called CPOC, Supplier Input Process Output Customer, which is used in a Harvard Business Case Studies. So this is how I'm covering the things. Okay, so I'm covering what is how to identify supplier. Okay, inputs. Okay, process, output, and customer. And then if you understood or not understood, after that I have a case study. So suppose there's a secure cloud storage, how to identify CPOC in that. Understood? So these level of granularity I'm covering in this particular course, which has not been covered in any course. So building information security strategy, then draft policy, how to draft policy, there is a dedicated slide for that. Then form the department, okay, accountability, responsibility, how to create a RACI matrix, that covered in this course. Then conduct risk assessment, because we create a 5-year strategy, but how to prioritize, we have to do risk assessment, and then based on a building a program management, which is a tactical plan, and then build the matrix. How many of you have seen my video on YouTube on building matrix? There is a dedicated 50 minutes video I made on metrics. And then finally we measure the metrics for compliance assessment, and that is how we do. So let's take an example. Okay, suppose your company want to migrate operation to the cloud, okay, which is managed by a third party provider. So how governance work here? So first thing is that, do we have a strategy in the domain for cloud computing? That you have to look for. Then you have to see, do we have any policy, because policy drive the governance. Okay, is security is our responsibility, or is security is appropriate in the cloud? That we have to look for. Who's responsible for that? Okay, what is the security risk that ensure the things? Okay, then what specific control should be in place? Is there a need to review our system of monitoring? What are the applications or are to be involved? What is the impact on our compliance? What indicators we have? This is how we are going to drive this particular session. Understood? So for every initiative, what is a strategy we need? What is a process we need? All those things are basically part of this. Now coming back to the slide, okay, here, if you're talking about the governance perspective and all that. So someone asked me about the policy perspective and all that. Okay, so now let's take example. The first thing, if we understand the business, then how to understand the legal regulatory. So here we have a data privacy law. I'm covering data privacy law. I'm covering security breach notification law. I'm covering industry specific regulations. I'm covering the contractual requirement. So all these things are there, and steps are there. Steps are also there, step by step. Establish the regulatory tracking system, then develop the contractual record management systems, and then we have a detailed steps. I'm covering everything in this particular thing. How to interpret the legal requirement, there is a dedicated for that, and there is a case study for that also, documentation sample, like GDPR description, last date, key requirement, responsibility. Same with HIPAA also. HIPAA is also there, GLBA is also there, SOX is there, and GDPR is there. SAMA also I'm covering. I'm also covering SAMA in that, Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. Then I'm also covering the DPDP Act. So all those things is. Then make sure we comply with the NIST. Every slide has a NIST checklist. And now when you're talking about this NIST part, okay, so this is the document I'm covering on CSF 2.0 draft, because I found this draft itself is a very valid draft. So I'm going to cover step by step all the 6 functions. I'm starting with the governance, then I'm going to cover identify, then protect and detect, respond and recovery. Okay, govern, identify, protect, detect and respond. Team, can you able to see here? We're talking about organization context. Okay, then what is a subcategory? I'm going to discuss each and every category in detail. How? Let me show you that. Here you can see the first is organization mission is under inform cyber risk. So what is the step 1? What is the documentation? What is the step 2? What is the documentation? Okay, so these all things are basically covered in that. Okay, so when you're talking about this course, Okay, this course is completely based on a hands-on. Okay, this course is based on the hands-on. This course doesn't target CGRC. CGRC has a limited NIST risk management framework actually, but this course covers the entire holistic cybersecurity framework. This course is basically talk about NIST cybersecurity framework, which covers 6 functions. I think every company has the 6 function, right? Directly, indirectly. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that is the reason I thought I will use this as a benchmark. Okay, because it covers everything: zero trust, BCP, contingency, BIE, everything it cover. Everything it cover. And we're going to discuss each and everything on that. Okay. NIST basically stand for National Institute of Standard and Technology, which is a government agency in the United States. Okay. And it is a, so in layman term, you can say NIST is basically like a super smart group of people who basically help make sure that everything related to the technology and measurement in the country is really safe and work well. Understood? So, and they're creating guideline, they're creating a rule which telling the companies how to keep your information safe on the internet. Along with that, just like your parents tell you to look both way before crossing the street, same NIST is basically do that. Okay, so NIST basically help everyone from the big companies to the small one follow the same rules so that everything runs smoothly and securely. And NIST is basically introduce a CSF 2.0 draft. So by this year, it will go publish. Okay, so that is something is basically part of that. So NIST is basically a standard, okay, which is specific to only US. So governance part, risk part, and implementation compliance part, all three are covered from this particular course. Understood, team? So this framework basically helps the organization to begin or improve cybersecurity program. I'm sure in some people who join this batch in their company, they're already having a CSF, right? 1.5 and all that, because it is a great framework which cover all the functions. Okay. Now I've seen a lot of people get confused with framework and standard. Framework is a structure. Standard is basically way to measure the things. Is it clear? Framework is basically a structure and standard is basically called as a measurement metrics. Example, I want to join the company. I want to start cybersecurity. I don't know how to start. Directly follow the 8 character path does not make sense. So by following a framework, help me to build the structure. Okay, I want this, I want that. And then further, in order to measure the quality and all that, we adopt the standard. Let's take example, you want to build a house. Okay, so first, what is the first step? What is the first step? If you want to build the house, what is the first step? You design the house. Okay, you will first design the house. So when you're designing the house, in which, okay, I want TV. Okay, I want uh, fridge. I want AC. I want sofa. I want other things. It's a basic necessity. So when you're building a house, you need all these things. But I want a LG TV. I want a Samsung AC. So here I'm introducing some metrics to measure the quality, and this is basically called as a standard. Understood, team? So when you join as a security officer, implementing a random password, which is a part of a cybersecurity framework. Refer a framework, implement. But I want a particular character of the password because it's stayed by one standard and you want to claim and you want to set as per the benchmark. Then we basically follow the standard. That's why framework never come with the certification, but standard basically come for a certification. Understood, team? So this course doesn't teach standard. This course teach framework. This course cover framework. Okay. And with the help of this framework, you can able to improve the cybersecurity posture. Okay. It cover all the 6 functions. So key highlight of this course is cover all the 6 functions of CSF. Starting from how to interpret business requirement, what is the tool we are using for that, that basically covered in this particular section. How to build a cybersecurity from scratch. No course will teach that. I'm teaching that in my NIST GRC course. How to define KPI and other metrics. Okay. Then along with that, principle of effective security governance. That's something we're going to discuss. Okay. Then practical implementation. That's something we're going to cover. Okay. So that's something is basically part of that. No, so one of the most important thing nowadays in a cloud and in the dynamic environment is cryptography. Okay, cryptography. I'm sure cryptography play a very important role nowadays. There's no course which talk about cryptography governance. There's a dedicated module I have on cryptography governance, starting from policy, management of key functions. All those things is part of this course. Then data security governance, which is a new trend. That is completely new in this particular course, which I'm building, and where I'm going to talk about data protection policies, data protection governance. Okay. Along with that, what is the enterprise security functions, and everything I'm going to drive through a template. It is not a theoretical training. Guys, this is not a theoretical training. This cover a practical. So if I take an example, I want to start governance. Let's take an example. Okay, so let me show you one sample. So in this, as I said, when I start a session, I talk about GRC first. So I'm not assuming that, okay, suppose let's take example, Miraj is there or Syed is there. So I'm not assuming they are the industry expert. Okay, I'm not assuming they are the industry expert. Okay, I'm not assuming you are the industry expert. So I will start from the concept first. Before teaching any template framework, I make you understand why this exists. So we focus on understanding the concept first. Then, so let's take an example here. I have this framework which is called NIST GRC. Okay. So if you can see here, suppose let's take example, there is a zero trust is there. Let me show you. Can you see the zero trust here? So before we basically teach you how to implement, let me first explain you what is zero trust. If there is a biometric is covered, if the SAML is covered, everything, we start with the concept first. And then we take a reference how to implement. Understood? So it is not about okay, assuming or implementing everything. It's not like that. This course focus on practical, how to interpret NIST requirement, how to build templates, and how to implement CSF 2.0. So let's take example. Okay, the first NIST requirement is GVOC. Now, what is GVOC here? Now, if you take an example, so here we have a GVOC which say building organization context. In CSF 2.0, they start with the organization context, and they say the first thing is that organization mission is understood and informed. So if I go back to the slide here, you can see step one for this particular function is define, communicate mission. Why? Then we talk about action plan and documentation. Here I will share you the sample how to create this documentation. Understood, team? So you can see that for a first particular requirement for GOVOC01, for that we have a further steps. Step one, action documentation. Then step two, identify risk related to the mission. I'm still in the phase one itself in this particular stage. So in this we have a further steps. Okay. Step two, identify risk related to the mission. Then step three, align cybersecurity with mission. What is the documentation required? Then step four, integrate mission and cybersecurity culture. Documentation is required. Then step five, continuous monitoring improvement. What is the documentation required? So each and every requirement has further steps, and each steps basically have objective actions and documentations. Okay. So what is the target audience? Target audience is IT professionals. Okay, information security consultant, risk consultants, risk manager, security administrator, CISO, security officer, IT auditors. These are the ideal audience for this particular course. Now, Prab, what is the learning we get from this course? You can become a GRC consultant. You can become a CISO. You can become a security officer. You can become an auditor also. You can become a risk consultant also. This will give you a new insight, and I'm sure, this session is getting recorded. I can proudly say that after this training, if you attend any interviews also, you can able to crack the jobs. I can proudly say that. I can proudly say that in my CISSP training also, people get a job. And some people are in this batch, he's my old students also. Okay, they know very well. So you can imagine what I cover in CISSP is like a 20 to 30% bigger than what I'm going to cover in the NIST. Are you guys able to see my slide? So first, fielding governance, okay? Second step is building identify. Now in this you can see I'm not starting completely from topic. Okay, so we have a NIST requirement here which say asset management is the first thing, because if I go by the NIST slide, and this is how actually every industry works. So if I go select identify, this says asset management is the first. In the asset management subcategory, inventory. Even you follow the PDF, you can't implement because you should know what is inventory. So in this course, I'm going to start first with the inventory of asset. What is asset management? Key benefits, criteria to classify information. I'm doing that level of granularity. Then I talk about the type of information. Then I talk about labeling and marking. And then I talk about managed data security in the cloud. Till now I'm teaching concept. I repeat, till now I'm teaching concept. This concept. Now I'm going to implement NIST. Step 1. It's a inventory of hardware managed by organizations or maintained. Okay, here you can see inventory of hardware. What is the step to implement this? Okay, what is the step to implement this particular course? So that is something is basically part of this. Step 1, develop the hardware inventory. Second is implement the automatic inventory, regular inventory, and all that. We have a dedicated, see, risk management strategy, dedicated slide for this, dedicated content for this. You can see NIST requirement. I'm starting with the basic risk terminology, risk management principle, then risk management decision, then steps. Okay, each steps. Then retail risk management, then mandate requirement, then how to build risk management policy, integrate risk management in the organization, how to integrate. We talk a lot about that, but how to integrate doesn't, no one talk about that. So we covering that. Then context. Okay. Then we also have a determination of objectives. Each and objectives we are covering here. Risk capacity, appetite, tolerance, how to set, how to define that, how to define, how to define the stage, everything. So you can imagine 45 slides only on the risk management, guys. 45 slides. Then document requirement, then risk, how to accept the risk criteria. No one talk about risk acceptance criteria. I have a dedicated slide for that. In which condition we accept the risk criteria. Then scaling, all those things is part of this requirement. Understood? Now, how I'm going to teach this course? As I said, I show you, first I will cover the concept, then I will show you NIST, and then I will give you exercise. Okay, you can see each and every step we have a templates. This is called as the templates. I will give you some ready-made templates also in this. I'm also ready to give you the templates for some of the steps. So let's take example. Let me show you that also. So someone basically asked me, Prab, do we have anything on risk management framework? So here we have a risk management framework. Okay, then how to maintain the inventory. Okay, so this is basically the ISO 27001 inventory we have. Along with that, I'm using another inventory also. Okay, so this is how I'm going to teach this particular course. Understood? Now tomorrow, if I'm basically going to cover HIPAA case study, okay, in regulatory requirement, how basically going to follow HIPAA case study. So I have a document for that. Let me show you. Like I'm teaching you how to interpret regulatory. So you should know how to interpret regulatory. So I have a dedicated document for that. Let me show you that. See, HIPAA security requirement. We also have a case study for the policies. As I said, I'm not giving you all the documentation, but I'm to teach you how to create the documentation. No course talk you about how to write. So I'm going to teach you how to write. So here is a case study of creating a policy statements and all that. And see, this is how we're creating a mission element. Let's do that. It's a weekend or mostly it's a weekday evening course. Okay. So let me show you an example of mission statement. Can you see that mission statement here? This is our mission alignment, stakeholder identification, analysis, risk tolerance. So this is a checklist when you're creating a mission statement, mission alignment. So that is how we have to understand. So all these templates is basically, part of this training. Those who preparing for CGRC, there is a already technical guide I prepared and posted on LinkedIn. You can refer that, Kemi, that give you benefits. So this is all from my side, team. Bye. Take care, team.